What's going on, guys? Will Blandrake. I purposely want to do this video in this format because I want it to be a long form video for TikTok or Instagram. Right now, this is not the topic I want to talk about, but politics is on fire right now. Like, with all this stuff going on with the, with Trump and Biden and Harris, and regardless of which side you want to be on, if you want to get a really creative niche, do politics. I'm not going to do it because that's not my thing, but might be a good niche for some of you guys to get into. But the subject I want to talk about is how I thought the room rental hack was going to be easy. For those that don't know, I'm a Uber and Lyft driver, and I also sell digital products and services, and my traffic source is YouTube. So I got quite a few channels, stuff like that going on. I make a few dollars here and there. It's not enough to replace Uber and Lyft yet, but one day it will be. So I started renting rooms as a way to help really pay my rent, because Uber and Lyft is killing me this year. I'm not going to lie to you guys. They are absolutely killing me this year. Particularly lately, I would say this week, I'm getting better offers on Lyft, but I get more frequent offers on Uber because it's the big dog, it's the grandfather, but the offers are trash. I'm talking about, I saw an offer 15 minutes to go pick the people up, and it was like a 18-minute ride, $5. I don't know what's going on with Uber lately, but they are wilding with that one. They are straight up wilding with that one. Lyft's give me some crappy offers too, but every now and then, because you could do that, what I like about Lyft is you could do your a small ratio of where you want to drive. They have that capabilities, so you could do within 5 to 10 miles. So I'm getting a lot more offers for local short rides that pay a little bit better than Uber. A little bit. I would say maybe $1 or $2 difference. Without all the bells, whistles, bonuses, crap that really equates to they just playing with your money. So I started doing a room rental hack as the way of paying my rent, and I gotta tell you, it has not been easy. I gotta deal with a lot of different personalities. When I started, I had a different landlord. Asian lady, very disciplined, no life. Even though she had a man, she had no life. She literally was on the property as much as somebody that lives there. She was on the property, touching up stuff, doing the grounds herself, which I applaud her drive, because if I ever became a landlord, I would have a similar drive to what she was, because she wanted to maintain her property. She wanted to keep them in good condition. She didn't want, freeloaders coming in and ruining the property. So I get that part. I really do. I get that part. But she was just always there. Tenants don't want to see your landlord all the time. Even if I lived on the property, I don't think I would bother my tenants as much as this lady would just constantly want to come in your apartment and do stuff like check your fire, your alarms, whatever. But I think that was just an excuse really to get in an apartment and see what you got going on. She always said I was very clean for a guy that's basically a bachelor, older bachelor. I finally go to start renting rooms, and I gotta be honest, I didn't tell her about the first person. There was a Jamaican guy. To this day, I still talk to this dude, so hopefully he won't watch his videos and get offended or whatever. But Jamaican guy, close to my age, I want to say late 40s. He had a lot of daughters. The guy started out great. Was paying me on time. Everything is good. He was a freelance worker, meaning he didn't have a actual on the paper job or on the table job, I don't think. I think he worked for a real company, but I think the guy he worked for was paying him under the table. You know, dodging taxes or whatever reason. So the guy started out good. Practically begged me to get in. I happen to be in a good neighborhood in my town. Near shopping. I'm right near a Stop and Shop. Right near a Dunkin' Donuts, like walking distance. So he liked the area. How I structured it, I wanted weekly payments. And I recommend everybody that rents rooms in the future to do weekly, because you want to get as much money as you want to get as much money as you can per week in case something goes wrong, they lose their job, whatever. And then you want to get at least security, some type of security. I did last month's security. The reason why I did last month's security, I always knew they would never ask for the money back. They would just ride out that last month. So I only did 1 month security for the last 30 days. I was charging $175 a week, which was not the highest for renting rooms in my area. It's not the highest at all. And I'm in a good neighborhood. And no roaches, which, believe it or not, is a plus, because the hotels, the motels, they rent rooms, but they have bugs. So I'm renting rooms to this guy. He was my first. I had 2 bedrooms, but I have a large living room, dining room combination, so you could technically section off the living room like a bedroom. That's where I sleep, basically, in the living room. But even though I had 2 bedrooms. So I rented him the largest what is the master bedroom. He gave me the $700. He actually gave me more, because I asked for like $750, because I like to get that extra $50 cushion in case I got to do a background check or something like that. He showed me he showed me proof he had a job. I started renting him. I forget when he started slacking. I don't know what he was doing on the side, selling weed or whatever he could do. I really didn't care. As long as he paid me my rent, I really didn't care. Fast forward, he started having trouble paying. And on top of that, he wanted to bring all 5 of his daughters that are large teenagers. They're not little young kids. They're large. I think one of them's a woman. So one of them was over 18. So he wanted to bring all 5 of these large teenagers in, stomping in my room when I'm not around, stomping in the apartment when I'm not there, taking showers. There's dye all in my shower from, their hair dye. I didn't want to tell somebody don't have your children or grandchildren over, because that's probably breaking some type of law, whatever. And I wouldn't want somebody to do that to me. But I was happy when it was time for him to go, because it was too much foot traffic. Fast forward, the next guy happened to be a white guy, heavyset white guy, very messy. I'm talking about so messy, I don't even care if he sees this video, because he was very, very messy. But he started out paying outright, started slacking. I want to say, like, he was there at least 8 months before he started really, I would say 6 to 8 months before he started having trouble paying. That's another thing, when you start renting rooms, it's for some reason, it's around that 8-month mark that they start having problems. I don't know what it is about 8 months. I foresee that he was going to start having problems paying me. So what I did is I rented the other bedroom, which is the smaller bedroom, to a older black guy. I forgot to mention that the heavyset white guy, was younger. I don't know if that plays a part in dynamics and how people pay or whatever, but he was around 30 or late 30s. I want to say 34 when he moved in. He was closer to like 36 when he moved out. 35, 30, I think 35 when he moved out. He was a gamer, the white guy. And he smoked weed. That's one of the ways I was able to get people quickly. I left that out. I posted a Craigslist ad, weed-friendly room for rent, and that gets responses on Craigslist like that. You're welcome to steal it if you want. But only do this if you truly want to live with people that smoke weed. I didn't have an issue with it. When I'm not driving, I smoke weed. So, some people are going to probably say what that brings in the bad element. Could be true. This guy, after a while, wanted to do nothing else but play video games and smoke weed in his room and stop going to work. He had a young child, actually, he brought over once. That was his son. And he even told me a story that his son, when he saw him, wasn't even sure. He was like, "Are you my daddy?" Because he haven't seen his kid in so long. That tells you what type of person he is. Just didn't want to do nothing after a while. And bare minimum was trying to pay, but always late. So I was like, I got to get rid of this guy, but I need some money coming in. Rented the other smaller room to an older black guy, closer to my age, late 40s. He's 50 now. That black guy pays on time. I never have a problem with him. Has a full-time job and also drives for Lyft part-time. And he told me he has something on his record as the reason why he couldn't drive for Uber. So he only drove for Lyft. Always pays me on time. Never a problem. Came time for me to get rid of the second guy, the white guy that wasn't paying me, just want to play video games. He's always home. Finally got him out. Still got the original black guy in there. Started renting the big room again. Came across another white guy, a little bit older than the first white guy, named Dan. Dan was a character. Was in the military for some time. He was married to an older woman. Didn't work out. I think he mentioned something about he thinks she cheated. Come to find out, Dan was a bad alcoholic, but you couldn't tell by his looks. He was in shape, nice built, thin, liked to work out. But I liked Dan because Dan was a hustler as far as work. He had 2 jobs, always had money coming in. Dan knew he was a mess, though. Dan volunteered to pay more than what I was charging. He said, "You do a lot of work around here well." He had a good personality when he wasn't drunk. volunteered to pay $200 a week. I didn't ask for it. He volunteered to pay $200 a week. Plus, he was buying food for the house, not just for himself. So this is one of the reasons why I really like Dan's character, even though he was an alcoholic. Here's where the story gets crazy. I wake up one day, Dan has a woman in the house. Now, we made the silent rule, because you really can't tell people can't not bring guests over, but not to bring chicks over, because in the event of a breakup, they bring the drama to the crib, so it's like this hidden rule we have. Dan not only brings her chicks over, but I find out the chick is a street-level prostitute, meaning she doesn't even have a home. She lives on the street, because Dan worked at a group home. And he has no problem meeting street people. He didn't meet her at the group home, but he didn't have a problem with street level people that literally had no home. He couldn't even get this lady to leave. Just talking to this chick, her mental state wasn't all there. I had to get in a car and drive her downtown to get her out of my house. But even after that, Dan was still my favorite tenant. Dan had a lot of emotional issues. He needed a therapist or some type of mental help. Not just because of the alcohol, but he was constantly, he said, upset about the divorce he had with the ex. And he was always thinking about her. And after that situation, I was like, yeah, I probably see why, you had to go, But Dan, after only literally, I don't even think Dan was in my apartment so all this stuff was going on, me and Dan going to restaurants, hanging out. That's another thing, we hung out, we ate when he was sober. He only drank at night and came in the middle of the night. Dan ended up moving to Arkansas last minute and literally left me all his stuff and gave me extra money to get rid of the stuff. Left all his stuff except like a few items of clothes he took with him. He left his army case, his army medals. He just literally told me he couldn't bear to live in Connecticut anymore, thinking about his ex. That's why he was with the prostitute and why he was drinking a lot. So he moved to Arkansas, gave me a big hug. I was the one that took him to the Bradley Airport. Never saw or spoke to Dan again. He doesn't answer the phone when I try to call him just to see how he's doing. Or I inbox him on Facebook sometimes. So Dan, if you're listening, he was simply my favorite because he compensated for his mess. Fast forward, I tried renting this room one last time to a guy who I think he says he's got lupus. He's taking a lot of medications. And I think he's on drugs. Why I didn't see this in his character in the beginning, I don't know. His mom gave me like 2 months in advance to get him in. Yes, his mom. This guy is 41 years old. And his 60-something-year-old mom paid for him to get in as a favor, I guess. And we're at the point now where I'm about to get rid of him and kick him out. Probably, he paid up till September. So the end of September, he's out of there, and I'm probably never going to rent that room again and just go back and use the room for my own personal bedroom and open up the living room. I thought it was aggressive anyway. A lot of people told me it was aggressive to rent both bedrooms. Considering I cut my rent in half with the one roommate that I still have, that we get along great, probably because we're closer in age. We're both clean. That's another thing. This new guy, he was living in those hotels I was talking about, bugs and all that, and his mental state's not all there, on top of the lupus medications. And he may be on some type of methadone program or something, because he's not all there. He goes in these blank stares, like people that are on drugs. I even posted a video about it on one of my YouTube channels where he was in the kitchen and he had his phone like this, and you could only see him from the back because I didn't want to get his face in the video, and everybody's like, oh, he's just staring at his phone, but his phone's like this and he's just staring. And I look at the phone and it's black. So I know there's nothing on the screen, so I knew he wasn't on the phone, but everybody in the comments was thinking he was like staring at the phone like this. And he just does these stares, like blank stares, and I think he's on drugs. That's not why I want to get rid of him. I don't think he's gonna top everything else off. I let him in with the prospects of he had 2 jobs lined up, and the mom gave me 1 month's rent and security. I know you should not rent to people that don't have a job. I knew this, and I still made an exception, trying to be Mr. Nice Guy, and look where it got me. Now I got to get rid of the guy. But I'm never going to rent that room again. So you got to be careful with the room rental hack. It works, but you gotta weed these people out. And I did screen these people. I didn't bring them right to the apartment. I met them at Dunkin' Donuts. Like, got a quick interview with them before I bring them to the apartment. But this one I let slide because I thought the mom was gonna like back him up in the event things go wrong. I called her up. She was like, she wants nothing to do with him. He's just gonna have to be on the street. That's what she told me. Don't call her again. So fast forward, this is where we are right now. I guess I gotta kick. His name is Mike. Ironic, he's the same name as the first white guy that was playing video games that didn't want to work, was also named Mike. Weird coincidence. And all this happened in the same master bedroom. So the one guy that's paying me on time has a smaller bedroom, doesn't stress me out. He's cleaner. It could be because of his age. He's a little bit older. These guys are younger. Because even this guy's a grown man, but his mental state's not there. He's 41, but his mental state puts him probably at closer to a 20-something-year-old man. He doesn't know how to do a lot of stuff. And I'm to the point where I'm tired of cleaning up behind him. That's another thing. He's really messy. He's used to living in these hotels where you could just drop food on the floor and not pick it up. Like, every day I come home, I'm cleaning up, sweeping behind him. I don't want to do this again. And I'm going to continue on with the current roommate I got because we're working out great. But when he's ready to leave, I'm never going to probably do the room rental hack, when I'm ready to buy a house in my own house. There's no way. What I would do, I would buy, say, a duplex, possibly rent a floor to a family, but I would let the realtor screen them other than my daughter. Like, my daughter family needs to stay there. I know she's good for it. She makes more money than me. She's in accounting, so I'm not worried about her and her husband not being able to pay. But other than that, no other family members would be able to move into that. I would let I would go to a real estate company, let them find the people to rent the apartment. I would do it that way. I would no longer manage renting my own properties ever again. Even though I don't own this property, I'm subleasing. Fast forward to, let me go back actually. My original landlady, she sold the property. So these are my new landlords. So they don't have a problem with me subleasing the property without red tape or paperwork. But in the beginning I was doing up contracts, but I find that nobody really cares about the contract, so I just give a receipt. But this has been a journey. I don't recommend it to the average person, but it has paid my rent my rent was paid in full for probably at least 2 years. Off and on with the one roommate, but I still was able to always have at least half my rent paid. My rent is only $12, but I was getting $700 a month, so a little bit more than half. But I'm also providing cable, all electricity, gas, and I was buying toilet paper and paper towel for the unit. So it was a success in the way of I've kept things. The money's helped pay the rent, and at some point the rent was covered in full. The only reason why my new landlords didn't raise my rent is they're not as aggressive as the old landlord. The old landlady, she would have raised my rent to $1,500. But these new landlords, they kept it at what the contract was, which was $12. So both my neighbors, it's a 3-family house. Both my neighbors upstairs and downstairs pay $15. And I know that because one of my neighbors told me, and I'm pretty sure the other one as well, pays $15. But they got a lot of people. They got more people in their apartment. Even though I was renting rooms, they got like kids and stuff in there. And the ones downstairs, they have a diverse family. So it's like a mom, son, granddaughter, uncle. So even though I've been renting rooms, at the most I only keep 3 people in the unit, and soon to be only 2, and I'm keeping it that way. So why am I sharing this video? It's just a journey into how you can make extra money doing different things, because Uber and Lyft is playing games. Now, fast forward now, I do make money online selling other people affiliate products, and I just started selling my own digital products. If you want to check that out, you can go to Blandrake.com, check out my offers if you want to help me out, because I will be down to 1 room. Check out my products. I do have one digital product that's free. Go check that out. Blandrake.com. Thank you guys for your continued support. If you're on YouTube, if you're on TikTok, subscribe. Help me grow. Subscribe, like, comment. Help me out on TikTok. I need more people on TikTok. And I appreciate you guys for going on this journey with me. It hasn't been easy. It's been a long struggle. I'm maintaining by way of doing other things other than Uber and Lyft. I will not go back to a regular job, so don't bother telling me that. I'm self-employed. I have my own company in Navy Federal where my online money goes, and I'm also about to set up an LLC for the transportation company so I can go 100% private, because Uber and Lyft is for the fucking birds. And I'm no longer going to be struggling playing this game with Uber and Lyft. I'm going to steal their customers, put them in my own private subscriber base. I'm actually get a website, get them subscribed, as well as make them private clients. Low key, I'm doing it now, but I've got like 3 people under the table, but I want to do it legal, get the commercial insurance, do it the right way, because the accident could happen in the future, So this is how you want to stay on top. You gotta think outside the box. You can't be sitting here crying, oh, Biden destroyed us, and Biden and Kamala Harris is destroying the economy. And you guys got to get up off your ass and figure some shit out on your own, because it doesn't matter who becomes president. It doesn't matter. If Trump wins, things ain't gonna get cheaper. I don't even know why you guys think that. If Kamala wins, things ain't gonna get cheaper. I mean, it might, micro changes might happen, but you need to make more money. It's simply that simple. If you don't make enough money, you're not gonna be able to make it in this economy, period. Regardless, going in the future, who becomes president. Thank you guys for listening to my rant. Again, subscribe, like, comment, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Go to the channel. Go to the Blandrake channel, blandrake.com, and like me on TikTok. Thank you.